Hey everyone! I updated the stream overlay a little bit, as you can see. And once again, right the very moment that I start the stream, my avatar breaks. This is so bad. Okay, can you hear me correctly, guys? Is everything okay in terms of the sound? Please tell me. Are we okay? Are we okay? So, in terms of the thing that we want to do today, right? We are doing a deep dive into the Ultramarines. But the thing is, it is very easy to say that all Ultramarines besides Bellator and perhaps Titus are bad and just end the stream, I guess. But we also will have a look at their designs. So like how fun the kit is, because the kit can be well, the kit can be fun, but can you spin your cane? No, not yet. I didn't animate it. Anyway, the kit can be fun, but it can lack some, for example, damage, tankiness. So we need to look at the character at like whether he has potential or not. So yeah, let's see. We have the Ultramarines here, and well, you can see that I'm not a big fan of them. It's quite easy to notice, to be honest. And well, the first character that a player ever gets to use in Tacticus is Varro Tigurius, the librarian. So the thing about him is that well, I think that Varro, like, he has potential. Like, being the psychic damage dealer is, well, it's quite good, to be honest. The fact that he has physical in melee, well, that's kinda a bummer, but, you know, it's not bad. Like, it's supposed to... Okay, we need to look at Ultramarines as characters that are learning kits, right? So they cannot be too complicated, because they are the very first faction that a new player gets to control. And, well, it's quite easy to understand that Snowprint doesn't want to overload new players with too many mechanics, because the game has deep mechanics, but you don't need them at the start. At the start, you need to learn that, for example, when you have a guy with like a big rod like this means that he has nice damage, right? But if you get into melee with him, this means that the damage is, well, quite bad. So that's the learning that we need to take from Varro. So there are some characters that well, do damage well in ranged, and there will be characters that do damage well in melee. So Varro teaches the players that range damage dealers can be bad in melee. He also, well, teaches them that psychers tend to hit many targets in a way. So we first have like the smite keyword that applies to his psychic ranged attack. So that's good. Like, it's a new mechanic. So this guy deals this kind of damage, and thus, deals damage to also one more target at random. And also then we have like his active, and well, it's pretty easy to understand. Like, his normal attack normal attack deals damage to a single enemy or two of them, and the active is like the buffed up version of it that cannot crit, but it doesn't matter for a newbie. Like, okay, the idea is here that, okay, I can either do a normal attack or I can do a super attack, right? So that's quite simple, but it also like shows you that it shows you that the active can be like a stronger one-time attack, right? So that's the thing that you learn from it. That's good. That's a simple design. Also, like, it's the fact that it hits so many targets, like, it kinda enables some shenanigan, you know, weird stuff with things like, I don't know, maybe Tough, let's say. Like, that's a fun combo, right? Holy hell. Yeah, you can use Tough active after Tigurius active, so that's nice. Anyway, Tigurius overall, the active is okay. Like, it isn't a problem of any sort, it's just okay. It's quite boring, but it has to be boring. That's the thing with Ultramarines. They need to be... No one uses Tot plus Varro. Yes, no one. But the combo is possible. Maybe if the numbers were better. So that's at least something. You cannot expect the beginner characters to have super synergies, right? So then we have his passive, and like you guys are saying in chat, it's quite weird that he doesn't benefit from it, to be honest. The fact that he is like the psychic fortress, and he doesn't get the psychic fortress buff. Like, he isn't harder to kill by psychers. He makes people next to him harder to kill. Why? Like, if he can manage to make allies like more well, you know, able to tank, let's say, psychic damage, then why shouldn't he also be able to block it himself? So the reduction part, like, that's okay. That's a very simple mechanic that shows you that sometimes characters can counter certain damage types or certain characters, right? So that's okay. The thing that I don't like about Tigurius passive is this. I really despise the RNG on any kind of abilities. So the fact that it's a 50% block chance, like, okay, I get it, but I don't want my abilities to be RNG dependent. So you look at Tigurius as a new player and you see, okay, he can do some AoE damage and he can make tanking easier, right? So, I mean, you know, it's kinda okay, but not great, right? If I were to change something about Tigurius, it would be like this. This can stay. This is okay. This part is the part that I would change. First things first. It should be like Tigurius and the surrounding units get the effect. There's no reason to not give it to him. He is the fortress. He should be able to withstand it too. And then it shouldn't be locked behind RNG. Like, this is not fun. Like, yeah, unfortunately, Snowprint continue. Yes, 100% agree. I don't like it. We have enough RNG. We have damage RNG, we have crits, we have blocks, we have some weird passives. That's enough of RNG that we need. Really. Okay, so Tigurius, like, he isn't very exciting. Like, he's quite simple. So AoE damage dealer plus some defensive buffs, I guess. Like, okay, no problem. Not exciting, but kinda reliable. Yes, the fact that it's 50% is something. He's very reliable against Psychers, so yeah. But overall, like, he's a good teaching tool. Like, okay, characters deal good damage in range, they deal weak damage in melee. Some characters have stronger actives, like one-time big attack, and some characters buff others. Like, that's the lessons that you are getting from Tigurius as a new player, and that's okay. Like, I don't mind it at all. So, that's Tigurius, right? Now, we have the Giga Chat, the absolute unit, the chonker. So, what do we learn from Certus? Well, first thing first, we kinda get a lesson about Pierce again. So it's one hit again, plus better Pierce on ranged and worse in melee. But the thing is, it's quite funny that his Pierce on normal attacks is just bolter. Like, I know that it fits, right? It's a bolter. But the fact that, well, the jump between those two isn't that big most of the time. We can make melee Certus, I guess. He isn't, like, you know, that far away in terms of the damage dealing possibilities when he is in melee. So, about Certus, we learn that Pierce matters in different, well, melee or range types, right? Then we learn that we have snipers in the game, and that's the 3 range on his normal attack. So that's okay. Like, when you combo it with 2 movement, it basically means that he has, well, 5 effective range, right? And that's the standard effective range for a Tacticus character. So, legendary Certus when? Now. Here you go. So, what do we have then? We have the traits that he has. Like, a new player doesn't really get to know them too much, but he has the heavy weapon trait, right? And it kinda means for a new player that some characters need to stay in one place in order to do more damage. And it's, like, shown even more in the active, where we have the fact that the heavy weapon applies double to this ability. So it deals 50% more damage if he stands still instead of, well, 25%. So that's okay. That's a good lesson. Some damage dealers need to stand still, right? So that's okay. I dig it. It's not a bad lesson to take, right? So this is fine, I guess. And now we get to the weird part, and we get to his camo cloak. So whenever an incoming ranged attack has its number of hits reduced for any reason, it deals less damage per hit to this unit. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like, what do we learn from this? We don't learn much, because it's not like, okay, it promotes to put Certus in a bush, I guess, right? Wait, what? I love that you just show the images and wait in silence as we discuss it in chat. Oh, you must be trolling me about my microphone not working. So the thing is, with Certus passive, it kinda is like it teaches you that, well, you need to hide in bushes, I guess. So that's good, but at the same time, like, it's so niche. The fact that it, no worries, lag. The fact that he kinda works only against ranged damage dealers that have multiple hits, preferably. That's not really exciting. Like, I don't think that it works against like snipers with one hit, because there are no hit reductions going on when the attack has one hit. So it's kind of bad. The idea is there, but the execution isn't really great, especially since we only have 2 movement. Like, you need to get to the bush. So, you know, you need to get Certus into the bush here, right? He's sitting here with his big sniper rifle. And then you get shot to the face and he just dies. Like, he isn't very tanky. He shouldn't be getting shot because he's supposed to be the sniper. He's supposed to be using his Overwatch to kill anyone that gets in the range that can shoot him. And you place him in a bush and it doesn't work most of the time, to be honest. And he just dies and he's so bad. So for a beginner character, the things that we learned from the Certus design are that some damage dealers deal more damage if they don't move. And we also learned that, well, there are snipers in the game. That's it. That's all that we learn from this character. And to be honest, it's not enough. Like, Certus should be used also to teach us about Infiltrate. But the base campaign Necrons don't have Overwatch, so you don't learn it. But it could be a very valuable lesson for a new player, right? Especially since we all know how many new players die to a Revas active all the time. So maybe teaching them about Infiltrate would be a good idea. So Certus passive is the problem for his character in my eyes. Like, this is the part that just doesn't work. Like, we can talk about giving him 3 movement, we can talk about giving him 4 range, we can talk about giving him more damage, like, okay. But the numbers are one thing, and a part of a kit just not working, not being fun to use at all, that's a bad thing. And we can't fix it by making this, I don't know, 200 damage at level 8. No, it still won't work most of the time. Like, it would be funny to see Certus being unkillable from range, but that's not the point. This just doesn't fit in a way. So this is the problem with Certus. The passive. Like, if the passive is usable, it can be good. But it's trash right now. So he needs something to be more diverse, to be more universal, let's say. He needs to be flexible. Like, this passive is too situational, like the chat is saying. So yeah, that's the problem with Certus. Of course, his artifact, his relic will be busted, but we will get to Bellator now. Anyway, Bellator. What do you learn from Bellator? From Bellator, you are supposed to learn 2 things. First, there are flying units, which is a very simple concept, but it's required for you to understand, right? You need to know that he can ignore terrain and he can be free to move all the time. That's good. And then the second lesson that you learn is that summoners are very useful. So we go to his active and we can see that, okay, we have Bellator, let's unequip. He has a little higher stats because of the stars, but you know, we can see that the Inceptor has like 850 health. And our Bellator right now has 1000 and let's say 200. Like a single summon is very close in terms of the stats to a normal character. So, you know, if you let Bellator stack the summons, he is very powerful because he basically like quadruples in power or something, right? He, like the intercessors deal about the same damage as he does with his normal attacks. They are basically as tanky as he is. They also fly like crazy. Like it's a good lesson to learn that the summons can be strong. So you get more Inceptors as time passes. So that's okay. Like you learn that sometimes patience is good. Like, yay, we can wait and then we get better rewards. Very nice, right? So that's a good lesson to have. Like the tutorial where you first use Bellator, I think, is where they also teach you about barbed wires and that you can skip your turns for the enemy to get blocked on bad terrain. So, like, teaching the players to not rush everything like orcs in faction wars is a good thing. Like, be patient, take your time, you will get rewarded. That's a very good lesson. Then you have like his passive. And can you talk about Titus before we get into Calgar? I mean, I can, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the thing is with the passive on him, what do you learn? You learn that positioning matters. Like that's the lesson. You getting between your Inceptors gives you a big boost in damage output, right? So positioning matters for you and your summons. There are characters that synergize with things being adjacent to them. That's the lesson that you get from the Shock Assault passive ability on Bellator. So that's a good lesson. Like, it's required for us to learn this, right? And it's quite easy to say that this guy is like one of the best investments in the Ultramarines roster. And there's a reason for it. He's a very good tank. Well, you know, there is a reason why we haven't gotten a new Gravis Armor tank on a playable character since the game released. Think about it. We only have 3 of those, I think, right? And it's Bellator, Burchard, and Calgar. And the reason why we don't legendary Bellator when... No, it's not Certus. I'm not going to waste those orbs on him. The reason why we didn't get another Gravist character is because it is so busted. Like, it is a very strong trait. So, he's a great tank that has very resilient summons. And, well, he can also deal some more damage if you position correctly. Like, he isn't like a huge damage dealer, like, you know, Karn or something, but he can deal proper damage if you position him correctly next to his summons. So that's good. That's a great lesson. Bellator like gets a big heart from me in terms of the lessons that he gives to the new players. And then we have Incisus, which I have been enjoying Incisus since the game launched. I have always been an Incisus enjoyer, even before his passive got buffed. So I was the Incisus enjoyer when his passive was weaker. Well, what you learn about Incisus is that, well, there are characters that also deal proper damage in melee, because that's your first like real damage dealer in melee. And like not a like 100% damage dealer, you know, he's not Karn, but he deals good damage in melee, that's what I mean. And you learn about the healer fact, right? So it's a simple lesson, really. Like, he teaches you that positioning matters again. He shows you that sometimes there are synergies that work better within certain factions or alliances. That's a good lesson. Like, you know, it's not used enough in Tacticus because I don't know why it's not used more, but I guess, well, that's design choice by Snowprint. Well, he's quite easy to understand. Like, the only thing that is complicated about him is understanding overkill as a new player. Like, okay, like the easiest thing that we can say is that if a certain character dies next to him, he revives them. That's okay. Like, that's a simple thing. It doesn't need to be complicated. Those are, like, you know, beginner characters. We cannot if we cannot judge them like the rest of the roster, right? So yeah, he's bugged. He is very bugged. He has problems, but you know, overall the lessons are there. The fact that he still is kind of a good investment. And keep in mind, this guy used to be the biggest meme in the Tacticus community back in the day. Remember that people used to joke about Incisus shards in drops because they thought that he was the worst. Now it's Certus, but you know, people grew on Incisus thanks to some of the buffs and the fact that, well, we were kind of forced to build him up for things like Guild Wars or legendary release events, so people understood that he isn't that awful, not like Certus, so that's good. Okay, and since Gold and Rabbi Gaming is requesting us to cover Titus and Galatian first, before Calgar, let's save Calgar as a big ending, because it will be a happy ending. Titus. Okay, Titus is not a beginner character. He is the Ultramarine that was added later, right? And, well, it shows, because his kit is way more complicated than the rest of the team. So, it's kind of funny that each Ultramarine kinda has a different niche that they, you know, abuse and teach. So, Titus is a PvP character, like Jess said in chat, yes, but he also is kinda a PvE character for the wave-based game modes, so legendary release events, survivals. Like, he's good in them, right? I don't think that anyone would argue about it. Like, he's a good wave character. Like, I don't have him upgraded because, well, Tangida does the job for me. But if someone builds up Titus with the idea of him being used in survival or legendary events, it's not a bad investment. Not awful, at least. So that's something for him. So we have his active, which is way more complicated. Like, Titus kit, in terms of like how complicated it is like taking Tigurius, Bellator, and Certus and Incisus all together. Because there are so many mechanics that are added to it. So, first, let's see. Attack a targeted adjacent enemy. Okay, that's easy. If Titus has charged, so we need to learn what a charge is as a new player, right? And then he deals bolter damage if he charged, and it always crits, so that's good, and it deals more damage, okay. But if you did not charge and the enemy was next to you, he deals 3 times the chain damage hit, and well, then he doesn't crit, so that's like a choice that you have to make in a way, right? And then you learn that when he gets revived or resurrected, the active is usable again. So you have an active that basically is like 2 different actives at the same time, 2 different effects, and you also learn that you can revive him or resurrect him and you can use it again. So it's like, you know, for a new player, that's way more complicated. Then you have his passive, and it also is like, huh, that's weird, because, well, he deals more damage with all attacks for using abilities. Okay. And then you get to the death part, and the first time each turn that he is defeated, he cannot be overkilled, and he attacks the enemy with the final vengeance, and if he kills someone, he revives. Like, this is way more complicated. Like, final vengeance, what is final vengeance? When he dies, he does a normal attack unless overkilled, but he cannot be overkilled. And then he revives, and since he revives, the active becomes available. Like, it's like, for us veteran players, it's okay, because we look at it and it's, oh, okay, this all adds up, right? Because we know the mechanics, we know what charges, we kinda knew the resets from Onshi and stuff. It's okay. But imagine if you were like a new player and you just did your first 10 pull and you unlock Titus as the first unlock, and you get thrown into this kit when it's like next to Incisus, Bellator, Certus, Tigurius. Like, it's so much more complicated. Like, it's not a bad thing. He isn't a character that you are using in your campaigns. Keep that in mind, right? He is part of the Ultramarines characters, but he is not a beginner character. He isn't like a character that you use for teaching new players how to play the game. So he can be more complicated. He is in campaign event. Okay, that's true. That's true. New players can also access campaign events. You got me there. Okay, so, well, he's the most complicated Ultramarines character out there, right? Oh yeah, I should promote him. I must have dropped something lately. So, he is the most complicated Ultramarines character. That's okay. Like, I can imagine the Ultramarines. Yeah, but we don't, you know, using him on campaigns as borrowed means you lose medals. We don't care about it right now. We are thinking as like new players. We are looking at it from a new player's perspective. Like, what do we learn from Ultramarines characters when first playing them? because, well, we want to learn the game, right? This is the thing that we have to keep in mind when we are discussing Ultramarines, because they are supposed to be the noob faction. Yeah, he's not a new player character. Yes, he is a more advanced character in terms of the design. We need to play Guild Wars. What a lesson. Yes, you need to play Guild Wars, and you need to play I don't know, you need to play survivals and legendary release events, but you don't have him as a new player. So we go to Galatian. So he also is, well, a little bit more complicated, especially since, well, you cannot easily unlock him as a new player, right? I think that it was Chaos to unlock Galatian. So you won't be getting him from the incursion. So that's kinda meh. But what do we have? What do we have for Galatian? He's the basic bitch machine of war. Like the basic bitch faction machine of war. So Ultramarines machine of war. What do we learn from him? We learn... Well, first we learn that... excuse me. I mean, he is part of the Ultramarines, and they are the most boring faction in the lore for me. He is a raid boss. Yeah, he is a very nice raid boss. I cannot disagree. But you know what I mean. Anyway, my avatar broke again. I need to find better software for my avatar, because this is not acceptable. Like, this isn't good. Anyway, let's go. Let's go for his free ability. I'm not going to be calling it secondary or primary, because that's not the point of their design. It's free or paid, and you cannot change my mind. So, area restricting kind of stuff, right? Like, okay, it's an okay effect, but the fact is that, well, you use it to restrict movement, and most of the time it ends up being, well, summoner damage. Like summon damage, right? Because they tend to walk into the hex that is marked, and that's not fun. So Galatian, like, okay, this is fine, this is okay, but it's not exciting. Like the free ability is like, it's there. It's nothing super enjoyable to me. Then you have his active, and this is fun. This is very fun. So you get him on the battlefield. He has like 5 power hits, 6 projectile hits. Like, that's fine to me. Like, if you want to use Galatian properly, you have to abuse his Overwatch. You have to know where he works, against what enemies he will be good at, where it's better to use his free ability, possibly, rarely, but you know. You can use the big target buff from him. Like, the Ultramarines as a faction are very position based. Like, think about it. You have Tigurius that buffs adjacent allies. You have Certus that needs to take a good position and stay there in order to deal good damage with the heavy weapons. You have Incisus that heals or revives adjacent allies. You have Bellator that needs to be positioned between his interceptors in order to deal more damage. You have Titus that, well, he needs to be positioned on the enemies, I guess. So that kinda doesn't fit there in a way. You have Galatian that is also like a turret that you drop on the battlefield, and he can make you harder to kill too. So, for example, you can enable Certus passive with it, right? Like that's something. That's a synergy. You can enable Certus with Galatian, I guess. And then you also have Calgar. Calgar is like the ultimate positioning lesson most of the time. But speaking of Galatian, the fact that he's a machine of war and he gets deployed on the battlefield is kind of fun because, well, he has mechanical synergies. What's also kind of funny is that Snowprint didn't change the fact that vehicles already are mechanical. So, in theory, this could be removed and only like vehicle should stay, and it would work the same and wouldn't be that much bloat. So, it's kind of weird that they didn't change it at all. But yeah, Galatian is quite fun. Like, maybe give him a block chance. Do you mean Galatian? He's tanky. Doesn't need blocks. Like, I don't. And if you want blocks, there is a person that can give him blocks. Like, that's a block chance for Galatian if you want to make him block. And I think that's okay. Like, if you bring all Ultramarines, you have this playstyle of you drop in Galatian. He's like your... drop in Galatian here, right? He is the fortress for you. So that's Galatian here. Then you, for example, put in Certus behind him. You put in Incisus here, for example, for the healing. And then you, for example, put Tigurius here. I don't know, Calgar here. And Titus here, I guess. I don't know. Or Bellator. So he enables Certus. He gets buffed by Tigurius. He's fine. Like, the fact that Calgar gives him like so much damage because he's Imperial. Because he's Imperial, right? He's Imperial. That's like kind of makes him potent damage dealer in theory, right? So I don't think that, like, the design of the Ultramarines faction, besides Titus, is coherent because they need to stay together. They need to buff each other. They need to position well. Like, this is a proper design for a faction, and Galatian fits this puzzle very well because of his big target, because of his synergy with Calgar, because of how tanky in theory. I know that the numbers don't work now, but in theory, if you give him a block chance from Tigurius, that's a very tanky Galatian that gets to block a lot of hits and a lot of damage. So, I think that it's a very solid thing to do. Like, I don't know, like, only Titus doesn't fit the faction for me. Like, all the rest, like, he is okay in terms of the design. He is bad, but he teaches you an okay lesson. Like, he needs the Overwatch lesson too, right? Bellator is a great lesson. So is Incisus. Galatian fits. Like, he fits all of them. Very nice. Then you have Calgar. That's like a very nice Galatian support when you think about it. And then you have Titus that just doesn't fit at all. Yeah, he has the main character energy. Titus is the main character of the Ultramarines. I cannot agree more. He needs to be the main character. Certus teaches you a lesson. What happens when you waste your resources? Yeah, kinda. He tells you how bad it can feel. And my avatar broke again. What the hell is going on today? Anyway, guys. Now we have Calgar. And what do we have to say about Calgar? He is not a beginner character too, in a way, right? So he is a Gravis character with a block chance. Yeah, that's unique. That's a unique combo. But you know, AoE ability, think of it kinda like Tigurius AoE in a way. You know, it's a simple, strong attack. When are you going to make a video about Astra military rework? When you talk to me about it. When we call up. So yeah. Cały czas czekam, bracie. Po streamie może nawet. Ale prędzej bym coś pograł. Anyway. What do we learn from the Calgar is that positioning matters once again. And you get it from the passive, right? Because like the best multi-hit users, the best multi-hit players know how to reposition Calgar during the fight. That's the big skill check of the multi-hit team. The fact that that's a very proper idea, Defecticon. The fact that Calgar is so big, like he is so much bigger than Incisus or Bellator or anyone else in the team, and that he is not a big target is kinda bad. It would also make it so he would enable Certus by himself. So that's good. That's okay. That would be fine. But yeah. Overall, Calgar is a very solid character. He's a frontline tank that isn't supposed to be the damage dealer, but he is a buffer. Like Khmiel said in chat, Paladin support. Powerful buffs to others. Like the active, I think that the active is okay. Like it's a get out of jail kind of active to me. When you think about it, I mean, Tigurius kinda works the same as like an AoE clear, but it's not as AoE as Calgar is. So I don't know, maybe I think that it's fine. Like Calgar doesn't need to be shiny with his design. Like, he doesn't need to be very complicated, since he's part of the Ultramarines faction that are beginner. And well, the AoE is good enough. It's unique for the faction in a way, so that's good. Like, Calgar gives them AoE, and the most important part about Calgar is his passive. Once again, we have synergies with positioning well. So Calgar is very nice with Galatian, for example, next to him, since those are 6 or 5 hits to be buffed by Calgar. Titus has 4, that's also okay. And then we have Bellator, which has 6. So your Ultramarines frontline that benefits from Calgar is, well, Bellator, Galatian, Calgar, perhaps Titus, right? And that's okay. Like, this is an okay team in terms of like how coherent and how synergistic they are. Because their synergy isn't super complicated. Like, I don't know, the Tau, for example, where they use marker lights and then they spawn drones and the drones can defend them. And when the drones are there, they also apply the damage from marker light, and then they get bonus hits and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. Like, this is simple. Like, Ultramarines synergy is simple. Like, they are okay, but they could be good. Yes, that's very true. Like, we can all agree that most of the Ultramarine roster deserves a buff of some sort. So it's up to Snowprint to decide whether they will buff the numbers or if they will change some of the effects on characters, right? So the thing that I think, okay, now we get to the things that I think should be changed on certain characters, right? So first character that we have is Tigurius, and for Tigurius this needs changing. The RNG, like, that's the part of the design that doesn't work for me. That's not fun. Certus, basically the whole passive needs to get changed. So it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. Like, maybe give him something more about infiltrate, or maybe give him camouflage, not just camo cloak. Maybe really make him invisible, go into deep strike of some sort. Like, that would be okay. Like, maybe giving him deep strike on his I don't know, if Certus starts the turn in a tall bush, he gets deep strike, whatever. Like, you know, whatever. Just make him more interesting and teach another mechanic with him, because this passive doesn't teach you almost anything, because it almost never works. So that's it. Bellator is perfect in terms of the design and how he works. Like, proper lessons here, good lessons. Like, they are very valuable lessons, so there's no need to change him, and he is like usable, so that's an okay beginner character. Very solid. Incisus, like, okay, he isn't great, he isn't amazing, but he does his job, and he teaches you a good lesson about, well, how healers work and how positioning matters when you don't want your characters to die, for example. So that's okay. Like, it's also like number tweaks, if anything, right? and perhaps the bug fixes or something. Calgar is okay. Like you guys said, maybe giving him two ranged attack and more hits in melee would be okay, but to me, it doesn't feel like it's required because he isn't supposed to be dealing damage. He's supposed to be a tank that buffs your team and has a panic button of active that clears the whole map around him. So to me, Calgar doesn't need any changes right now. That's what I think. I believe that he is a good design that's okay and that works. There's nothing to fix. Don't fix something that's not broken. That's the kind of attitude that I have to him. Titus is okay. He is like the most complicated Ultramarines character, but you know, this can be good. Like this is the first character that maybe teaches you to be sometimes aggressive. He's, you know, you play it slow with the Ultramarines. You wait up for Bellator to stack. You wait up for Galatian to be able to be spawned. Then you go in, like, and Titus is your go-in guy together with Calgar. So, you know, he has synergy with Incisus, I guess. That's okay. That's not horrible. He's okay. Galatian, also great. Like, very usable. Like, when you can use him, he's great. That's the idea. You just cannot use Machines of War in many game modes, so that's the problem. So, overall, I would say that to everyone's surprise, the Ultramarines are not in an awful position because all that they need most of the time are number tweaks. So Calgar, for example, very okay. Titus does his job, like he doesn't need changes. Galatian, when you can use him, does well. Like that's okay. Those three, no problem whatsoever. You don't need to touch them. Incisus, well, he could use some love. Mostly maybe about, you know, maybe being able to survive a little bit more. He should be a little bit more tanky. He's a frontline medic that needs to stand next to your units to be able to revive them. I think that he should be a little bit more tanky. But the kit is okay. So it's only number changes. So, you know, it's not hard to do number changes. If you have a character that you can easily say that he is awful in terms of his performance, but the kit is okay, changing the numbers by like 5% shouldn't be a problem. It should be done. The fact that it's not done is, well, sad to me, but it should be done. That's my idea, because well, I think that, you know, the beginner characters don't need to be super complicated, but it doesn't mean that they need to be bad, right? So we have things like Bellator. He isn't like a top tier character. No. Like he falls off late into the game. But he's okay. If you want a better Bellator, perhaps you can do something with the bolter damage type or with his damage number a little bit. That's all that you need to change. Because the rest of the kit is okay. And it does its job. So, you know, there's potential. Snowprint just needs to tweak a few numbers. Certus, for example, needs more work because of his passive, mostly. Because the active, well, it's not exciting, but, you know,
deal heavy damage to a character, push him back, deal more damage if you are standing still. Like, okay, this is boring, but, well, I even yawned now. Wow. This is boring, but does the job in a way, right? If it's bad, you can just buff up this number, or you can do it so it applies triple or quadruple, whatever. Or maybe do something like, if the heavy weapon trait is active, it does something more. You know, like maybe that's the way to go for Certus. Maybe he should be the beginner standing still character. Maybe that's the idea. We have Mogan Ra as the more advanced one. Mogan Ra is way more complicated with his effects, and Certus could be the beginner standstill character. So maybe who is worse, Certus or Niall? Oh, brother. That would be a hard choice to me. But I think that it's Certus. Niall at least can tank something, he just doesn't deal damage. Anyway, so the thing that we could do with his camo cloak is to push the standing still part, right? So maybe something like when Certus has not moved this turn. No, it won't work well like this. Like maybe something like if Certus hasn't moved his last turn, he receives -1 hit from all attacks up to a minimum of 1 and takes less damage from all reduced attacks. Whatever. Like getting him. Oh, thank you for subscribing. So I think that making his passive connected to the standing still archetype would be the best idea. How to implement it is something else. Like, I would need to spend way more time thinking about Certus as a character to design 1 or 2 passives that would work well and would be able to scale well and wouldn't be toxic or have some game-breaking interactions, right? But I think that that's the way that Certus should go. He should be the standing still character, and that's okay. Like, that could be a very fun niche for him to take. And Tigurius, well, Tigurius is okay. The active is okay. It's boring as hell, but it's okay. He teaches you a nice lesson about the different damage types in melee and ranged. The smite keyword, that's also okay. He teaches you about positioning by, well, making surrounding units affected by his passive. So the change that Tigurius needs is to affect everyone next to him and also him, so he gets the effect. And the psychic damage reduction should stay. Like, that's very nice. That's a very nice niche. You don't use it in the Necron campaign, of course, but you know, it fits and it's a use in perhaps Guild Wars or something, let's say. But I think that Tigurius shouldn't give you a % chance to block. And the thing is that I would make it so all Tigurius and all friendly surrounding units receive minus X damage from all attacks, and psychic damage is further reduced by Y. Like, this would be very simple, but it would be like also, well, quite fun, because it would connect well with Bellator and Calgar being able to tank well, and it would connect with Galatian being hella tanky, and it would make it easier for your characters to not get overkilled, so Incisus can heal them. So maybe that's the way to go for the Ultramarines. Maybe that's the part that would make them fun, in a way, as a faction. Because this point of the block chance, like, it's good for how is he called? The Barakiel. So it's good for Barakiel. That's it. But you know, I would prefer if Tigurius was great with Ultramarines and perhaps good with others, but I want internal faction synergies and designs to be coherent. So my idea is that Tigurius should reduce damage on all characters next to him and on himself, and then reduce the psychic damage even more. So that's my idea for a new Tigurius passive. I think that that's an easy fix, and I think that it wouldn't break the game, since Tigurius is nowhere close to be broken. And yeah, Ultramarines need 2 passive changes and some numbers change. That's all that they need. And to be honest, that's a very good score for a faction that basically is 3 years old right now, when you think about it. Like, Bellator didn't get any changes, I think. Calgar got a small change to his active, that's it. Incisus was made more consistent with his revives, that's basically it. And the problems are Varro passive, because it's unreliable and weird that it doesn't affect himself, and Certus passive, because it just doesn't work. So, you know, it's kinda okay. Like, the fact that the first faction that you play in the game only needs 2 ability changes out of 14 is a very nice score to me. So just wait for Necrons and Astra Militarum. Oh, brother. Astra Militarum, yes, they will be rough to deep dive. Necrons, they won't be as bad, but Astra Militarum will hurt a lot. Yeah, so my idea for the Ultramarines is to change up some of the numbers to push them into being more usable, and change 2 abilities, and that's it. That's all that they need. And I think that is great, because we are very close. Like, the potential is there for Ultramarines as a faction to be good. Like, there are a lot of things working for them right now. They just need some number changes, and number changes are the easiest kind of changes that you can do, because you can bump a number by 2% and see how it works. You can bump it up again by another 2%, see how it works. You can do this every patch until the character starts to work as well as you want it to work. And I think, personally, that we should be doing some kind of pressure, let's say, against Snowprint,
to do more of the number tweaks in the future. Because what's wrong with buffing up Certus by 5%, right? It won't hurt. Like, we are not saying to change Certus into an amazing, super complicated character. No, he is a beginner character. But that doesn't mean that he has to be unusable. Like, that's the idea behind this video. Like, some changes are required, but they are not drastic. Like, Certus is the most drastic change, because he needs a whole new passive that perhaps would, for example, benefit the standing still gameplay, right? Tigurius, you just need to change the rules on the passive, like affect himself, and maybe change a little bit how it works, how it counts, and the numbers. So that's easy to do too. The rest just need number tweaks. Like Ultramarines, like Defecticon said in chat, they might be the easiest faction to fix right now. Because when you compare them to Astra Militarum, or to, well, kinda also Black Legion, or to Necrons, okay, I mean, we'll get to Necrons sometime soon, don't worry. But for example, when you compare them to Astra Militarum, oh, they are so hard to fix when you compare those two. Like, Ultramarines are a walk in a park, and they should be an easy fix. So, if you guys agree with what I said, then I think that we should pray for Certus, and I think that we should talk more about how easy it really could be to fix the Ultramarines and to push them into being a better investment overall. Because, you know, if we can agree that it's not hard to do this change, to bump up Certus by 3% each patch, and to perhaps maybe make Incisus a little bit more tanky, for example, then, well, if that's too hard for a company to do, then I don't know what's easy for them. Anyway, I think that's it for the Ultramarines breakdown. We didn't stretch it to 2 hours. So, what characters are you planning on getting next? What, if you mean unlocking? If you mean unlocking, I basically have almost everything that I need. I need to unlock Traian in his next legendary release event, but besides him, I maybe would like Ahriman, but you know, I don't feel the need to play Psychers, so yeah. Anyway, right now I'm getting Giba Scrubs to Diamond 3, so that's my current goal. Diamond 3 Giba Scrubs. Holy hell, what happened to me? And, well, I'm building Carian in the background, of course, because I have Vitruvius and Toriad ready in the background, so that's 3 out of 5 if I get Carian going. So that should be okay. Anyway, guys, I don't think that we should stretch this out anymore. I think, yeah, but Jess, 30 people, that's okay, because we are talking about design, we are talking about, well, about things like how we would change a character. That's not as approachable as a tier list to a new update. We are talking about, you know, an old faction that everyone has and everyone played, and everyone knows how weird or bad certain parts of the faction are. And yeah, people don't like Certus. That's also it. True. Very much true. So, I think that that's good for the stream. I think that we are good to go, guys. So, I think that I will be ending the stream right now. So, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for connecting with me in chat. I will be doing the next stream over a week from now because I'm going on a holiday tomorrow. And, well, I will be wanting to do some streams on games other than Tacticus. So we will see how it goes. So bye, guys. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day. And praise the Omnissiah. Praise, and pray for Certus, please. Pray for